Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Good morning, Bix Weir, roadrunner.com with your morning horn of Z's. Just a sip of chaga tea. Oh, I was going to put out the morning news 3 hours ago, but I got down a rabbit hole. I think I figured out where we are in the latest form of manipulation of the price of silver, the people who are doing it, and an end date for that form. But it sets up another form of manipulation. I'll show you in just a second here. But first, I had a great discussion with my friend Will Lair of Perpetual Assets. Go to perpetualassets.com. Check out, get your retirement assets into your own possession. If you want cryptos, if you want gold, if you want real estate, whatever you want, stocks and bonds, get them in your own possession. Contact Will Lair at perpetualassets.com. Go check that out. I have posted this discussion on the private road because it's just way too hot for YouTube, obviously. And I'm still on secret private probation. So go check that out. It's called Silver, Gold, Cryptos, and Freedom is a Fight to the Death of Enslavement. The fight to the death of enslavement. Did I say that right? Yes, we're trying to kill the enslavement that we're currently under. And part of that is financial enslavement. It covers every part of the board. We get into it deep. Go check that out. Check out Will's new beard, too. It's very cool. That's on the private road at Road to Ruta. If you want access to that, go to roadtoruta.com and click on subscribe today. And we're currently giving away one of those Veritasium tokens that are so hard to find these days. Yes, Veritasium holds the patent for DeFi for so many of the cryptos that are out there. It's an insurance policy if you have if you have a current crypto portfolio. So go to roadtoruta.com, subscribe today, and we're sending one loaded on paper wallet to your front door with every subscription or renewal. So check it out. All right, silver. Everybody's like, oh my God, silver's rigged, but oh, the price is low, I don't want to buy. Or price is too high, I don't want to buy. The price is blah, 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 and I don't want to buy. Currently, the riggers of silver who deal in the multi-trillion-dollar world of manipulation are panicking to get out of their silver derivative position. Panicking. Can I say that louder? Panicking. And they're all going to be going to physical. Remember, JP Morgan Chase got out of their position in derivatives. Derivative positions are easy to get out of because those are traded, 500 million ounces every single day on the comics of derivative silver. So it's pretty easy to get out of a huge silver position. But what JP Morgan did through Blythe Masters and Jamie Dimon was load up on massive amounts of physical silver, over 1 billion ounces of physical silver, as could be seen by going in and out of their warehouse back for the last 10 years, right when they were getting investigated, And when it came down to it, JP Morgan Chase got busted. So Jeffrey Christian, 100% wrong, as usual. JP Morgan did get busted, $920 million fine for rigging the gold, silver, and U.S. Treasury markets. Now, this had attached to it a Deferred Prosecution Agreement. And when you read that agreement, it says they have 3 years to be good, and then they're out of hot water. So if you were Jamie Dimon, you're sitting there and saying, shit, I can't rig the silver market for the next 3 years. What am I going to do? How about I lease massive amount of silver to my, quote, customers, and Bank of America being the largest one. Bank of America ended up with over 1 billion ounces of leased silver from JP Morgan, and Bank of America structured deals to continue the rig through companies. I'm sure JP Morgan's involved in that rig on the sly, although they don't own that silver. Well, they do own it, but they don't possess it. That's the key with leasing. Who has ownership of that lease depends on the back end of what's going on with that lease. Now, the back end of this lease, we don't know what it says. It could be they have a purchase price at $24. It could be a structured back end, most likely. It could be going to somebody else, or it could be going back to JP Morgan. If it's going back to JP Morgan, they really can't take it back until the end of the Deferred Prosecution Agreement. Dun, dun, dun. So it's a 3-year agreement. And you might be asking, well, when is that, Bix? When's the end of this 3-year JP Morgan rig? And when can they start taking back that silver from Bank of America? Here it is. The date it was signed was 9/25/2020. 3 years puts us at 9/25/2023. 2023. This year on September 25th, JP Morgan can legally take back the silver. Now, some of this was on, quite a bit of this silver, I believe, was on a fix back in, and it's not coming back to JP Morgan. And why do I believe that? Because in the court case of their traders that were, saying, it's not my fault, it's my boss's fault. One of the things that came out in that court case is that in 2020, when they paid that $920 million fine, supposedly, they booked a gain in their precious metals portfolio, aka their silver portfolio, of over $1 billion. Is this insane or what? It's so obvious and transparent when you dive deep. So basically, if it has a fixed back-end lease, that is on the books technically a sale of that silver, so they had to book the gain. Now, $1 billion was probably less than the amount that they had, so they had a certain amount they had to put a fixed back in on that lease, and then they can book the gain to offset the loss of the fine. But obviously, the JP Morgan made out like bandits if they can get fined $920 million, but keep the billions of dollars they gained in taking the physical silver. So just to make that go away on their books, they booked a $1 billion gain. Now, let's put that into perspective. Their average amount they make per year on their precious metals is about $20 million. Not $1 billion, $20 million. So clearly they did this just to literally make that $920 million fine go away in the books. This is so criminal and so embarrassing for the regulators and the Department of Justice and the Biden administration and anybody in the industry. If you can't see this, I don't know why you're not looking at it. So there's more proof that they're doing this. And here's the proof that they're trying to get out of it. Look what happened just yesterday on the COMEX. Look at open interest drop 35 million ounces. We're not even close. We are not even close to the delivery day in March. I mean, that's the end of the month. March is a delivery month. Or is it March or April? No, March is. So we're not even close to the end of February, and already that's dumping 35 million ounces. Nobody wants to be on the short side of silver. Everything's getting out. And look, they're taking delivery. They're taking the EFP, exchange for physical, block trades. These are delivery trades. So there's massive amounts of silver taking delivery. They don't want to do it at the end of the month during a delivery month. For example, next month, at the end of February, we start another delivery month, and those have been going down, down, down. It's too visible. What they do is they try to hide it. But they try to hide it so hard that they even hide it in the OCC reports. The Office of Comptroller of Currencies assists the banks in hiding their derivative position. But it should look pretty obvious to everybody that something is wrong here. Now let's dive into what is wrong. What they did, what the large bank supervisor is a JP Morgan guy at the OCC. He changed this data, how it's reported. So he took gold out of foreign exchange and put it into precious metals, kind of doing the opposite of what he originally did. They put gold into foreign exchange to hide the amount of gold derivatives that were going on. So in the beginning of this year, because all these Bank of America leases were coming up, and we would have seen the amount of Bank of America's leased silver just plummeting. And I was all excited about it because we'd see it in the data, and then they changed everything about the data. It was insane, but we can still glean something because, look, foreign exchange rate is still going up, and JP Morgan obviously is a large part of that. Look what's happening to gold and silver derivatives. I mean, during this entire time, anything before 2001 includes gold in these derivatives. It's just a smaller part. And it was always going up. I mean, year after year after year, going up, 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 up. And then we had this massive jump of $4 trillion when they removed gold in foreign exchange. They're just trying to hide this shit. It is incredible. $4 trillion gain in foreign exchange because they had to move the gold, which actually started going down. Now, from what I can conjecture, it was about $460 billion worth of gold, and gold was moved, gold and silver. Is it gold and silver or just gold? Gold moved from the foreign exchange over to the gold thing, which would make sense. Because there was, we can look right here. So at the end of 2001, just silver, I mean, there's platinum and palladium, but very little, 75 billion. Of that, 27 billion was Bank of America, 28 billion was the other side of that trade, JP Morgan. So that right there is 60 billion of the 75. It's basically a JP Morgan, Bank of America, and some Citibank in that game as well. And here's what they're doing. They are running out of the OTC derivative positions. Look at that. Do you see anywhere where silver went down during the past, what is this, back to 2001? No. I mean, a little bit around 2011, 2012 with the Operation Silver Slam when silver was up to 50. But look at the past 5 years, nothing except up, 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 up. And then something changed, so they had to change. The U.S. government had to collude with the banksters and change how they report. But look what's happening. Down, down, down. Now, I don't think any of this is gold derivatives going down. I think this is all silver, all Bank of America and JP Morgan running for the hills. Now, Bank of America and JP Morgan took up almost 80% of the silver. This is the U.S. bank derivatives. And they are getting out of them through the structured lease deal. So if this was real, we'd see this dropping to maybe $5 or $10 billion instead of the $75 billion. Because that's what, look how much it's dropped. It's dropped from 463 in just 3 quarters down to 371. So already that's $90 billion worth of gold and silver derivatives have left the market. And don't forget, silver only had $75 billion to be given up. So I don't think much of this drop has anything to do with gold. I think there's so much gold it doesn't even matter what they do with the gold derivatives. But the silver derivatives, you got to hide them. And I think that vast majority of this drop in 90 is silver. I think we're going to see another vast big drop. Now, it'd be just wonderful if they're getting rid of both their gold and silver OTC derivatives, but I think it's mostly silver. And because in 2021, JP Morgan, or the B of A JP Morgan game almost doubled to $27 billion of loans that Bank of America took from physical silver. This is the real thing. And this is where it would be recorded, took from JP Morgan. And they were all on 1-year leases. So they all had to be paid back in 2022. That's why I think this next quarter that gets released, I think in April or something. I mean, the lag is ridiculous. But the next reporting for the OCC stuff, I think we're going to see a huge drop unless they pump the gold derivatives up. So I expect a huge drop, probably down another 50 billion, or let's see, how much have they been dropping? The first drop was 50 billion. The second drop was 40 billion. Because a year prior it was the biggest of all the quarters, and the fourth quarter, I'm thinking probably drop another 50 or even 60 billion dollars, but we won't know that till April when this report comes out. Whew, it's a lot to digest. I know. If you're just starting out in silver, you don't have to know all this stuff, except one thing. They're rigging the price of silver to keep it lower so that you don't know what's going on with the U.S. dollar. And it's the same with gold, but silver is 100 times more important than gold. There's 1,000 times more or less silver than gold. And the banks can control gold really easy because they have a derivative market in gold. And oh, by the way, they have most of the gold on the planet. So the physical gold. And there's a lot more gold than they tell you about. So yeah, gold's easy for the banks to control. Silver's close to impossible. But they've been doing it. You know, they've bent over backwards to rig the price of silver. Yeah, it's really, really crazy how when you go back in history, 150 years of silver price rigging. In the U.S., it's well over 100 years, well before I think the first major rig was right after the Civil War. Right after the Civil War, they made gold. You couldn't trade gold, but silver was out there with the people. That was the problem back in the day. The banksters had the gold and the people had the silver. And then they tried to get silver out of the monetary system, went just to a gold standard, then bimetallic standard, and it just got crazy. And then finally they took out Kennedy, and right after they took out Kennedy, they went off silver coinage. You can say what you want, whether it was, I think there's a long laundry list of things that Kennedy was fighting, so it could have been anything reason that they took him out. But you know, the fact that Kennedy loved silver, which has been acknowledged and understood silver as the people's money, and then they took him out and instantly stopped silver as coinage after, you know, almost the entire history of the United States. It should just be shocking to everybody that our government has been allowed to do this. And look what they're doing now, right? It's just crazy. Crazyville. We live in Crazyville. Anyway, that's what I got for you. I got a lot more coming. Lots on Veritasium. Yes, Veritasium has the patent on, these are the companies currently infringing. There are a lot, but Circle is infringing, Coinbase is infringing, and there's a lawsuit on that one. MetaMask is infringing, MakerDAO is infringing, Uniswap is infringing, DAI is infringing, Compound, cold storage wallets are infringing. Yes, absolutely. Reggie had the patent on this in 2014. And he filed it, and because our government wanted to delay all the crypto stuff, he was not able to enforce his patent because they wouldn't approve it in the very beginning. And then it was approved last December, or 2 Decembers ago now. And yeah, you have to have some Veritasium in your portfolio if you have cryptos, or if you don't. So they and don't make no mistake, they approved those patents on purpose. They haven't done anything to Reggie's 98 million tokens. Reggie doesn't necessarily need those tokens. He, according to his plea bargain, the SEC said he's not allowed to ever deal in cryptocurrencies anymore. So, you know, we'll have to have the SEC get shown to be the fraud they are. And Cliff's data has Reggie, the U.S. government coming to Reggie saying, help us. Because Reggie invented peer-to-peer crypto transactions without a third party, without a trusted third party. No J.P. Morgan, no Citibank, no, Charles Schwab, no E-Trade. None of that shit is needed if you have Veritasium, and that takes away 90% of the fraud, or probably 99% of the fraud on exchanges. And that's why I love what Reggie invented, and I'm a big supporter of it. So, yeah, I think Cliff's data is right that the price of Veritasium will go well above the price of Bitcoin. And you can see how that can happen if the U.S. government says, oh, my God, we have to implement Veritasium in the Dow Jones, the stock market, the bond market, the NASDAQ, the commodity markets, obviously, and the crypto markets. No exchanges can actually take place. They're all in violation of Reggie's patent. So I can see how the government's going to come begging hat in hand to Reggie. So that's my take. Again, we're giving away one Veri token loaded on a paper wallet with every private road membership or renewal. We'll tack the renewal onto your current membership. All right. That's all I got for you. So much more at roadtoroot.com on the private road. Go check out the Will Lair interviews and all the other, so many interviews we have done over the years. They're all there on the private road. Just go to the member area and you're going to see all kinds of great stuff and discussions in Grand Canyon and tons of Jenny Moonstone discussions. And she just nailed the Reggie Middleton stuff. She's been nailing silver. Just amazing talent, Miss Moonstone, and fun to hang out with. So go check those out. And this is Bix Weir. I'll talk to you guys later.